So I guess I'd say I'm a performance artist when like my old Greek neighbours would ask me and I'm like, how do I explain this in like some simplistic kind of terms? I've had a hell of a year. I was just talking to George about it. I got diagnosed with this disease at the start of the year. So first I got diagnosed as CRPS, so it's a neurological condition, and it kind of like messes with your limbic system and your skeletal muscle system kind of thing. But the biggest part was like cognitively, I'm just not quite there. So performing like this last year has been pretty much like digging to find if I can still do what I can do. I just can't find the words at the moment. So
why is the word important? Like why even do it?
People listen, like people actually hear what you're saying, I think, because you got like that eye contact with them there. And it's that coldness of a room that's not lit by music. You know, you can't kind of stand around with a beer and be disengaged when spoken word's on. Because I always just relied on like the eloquence and the charisma and all that shit that you do as a performer. Maybe just get a bit more honest on stage. Cat up the tree. Stop your cliches out the front of my place. Yeah, I don't really even care about like what I've got to say anymore. Like, I think it's less and less important. I think that's natural. You know what I mean? My dad, you know, barely speaks on things at all, but when he does, it's really powerful. I was like, yeah, you can withhold that. That doesn't need to be even public. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to bring the lens that you grew up with onto a different place, and that's where you find the reality kind of it. And you're like, I can try this thing and it doesn't really matter. Pool. You know, on a large scale, and then I think you just kind of like see that failure isn't such a big thing. The kids these days are like, whether it's with the internet, they see it happen so fast, like success or whatever, that they're like, nah, I can do this shit. And that's refreshing as hell. I find myself in workshops when I used to do them, like kind of down talking things while the kids are just constantly being like, no, why not? Why not? And then when you're like, oh, because I'm scared. That's the only answer that comes out, is because you're scared. If you're thinking that you're losing too much, you're deluded anyway, because you're not really building as much as you think you are. You forget like an idea, a concept, a poem, anything, it's just in your head for so much longer than it is out in the real world. So you feel everyone's being absorbed in this thing their whole life, but it might be a new perspective to them, so it's not really so magnanimous and great. And then, yeah, once you realise that if you keep trying multiple things, some of them will hit home in different places, some of them won't. But it's better just to be producing and thinking on a large array of things.